Imagine wealth that's not about flashy cars or loud parties. It's more like a sturdy old book in a quiet library, solid, comforting, and built to last. This kind of wealth, often called old money, isn't about chasing quick thrills. Instead, it's about keeping things steady through generations, like a promise between the living and the dead to hold each other up. What most people see as riches, this approach treats as a responsibility, a duty to protect and pass on. Old money marks time not by stock market highs, but by family events like inheritances and memorials. It adds notes to wills in the cold months and revises them in spring. The real joy isn't in buying new things, but in the peace of knowing things stay the same. The big lesson here is simple and reliable. When the world freaks out, think crashing markets or reputations in chaos. Old money stays calm, relying on a rule that's been repeated so many times it feels like a law. That rule: never sell the family land or core assets. Every lasting family builds what you could call an inheritance machine. It's not glamorous. It's practical, humming quietly behind the scenes. This machine includes legal tools like trusts, people called trustees who manage them, and a dedicated family office that operates around the clock. It even has a family constitution, a set of rules written down to guide behavior, turning wild emotions into steady financial plans. For example, it might convert a passionate investment idea into a structured deal, or channel family conflicts into agreements that keep everyone together. This way, no single person's greed or fear can wreck the whole setup. Younger family members might picture a hidden vault full of gold, while elders think of a detailed account book. But both are off track. The inheritance machine is really a system of rules that shapes the family's future, like changing the climate inside a long-standing name. At its heart are trusts, a clever way to handle ownership. Picture this. One person gives up legal control of an asset so another can enjoy the benefits, while a third, like a trustee, takes care of it responsibly. It might feel like a loss at first, but it's actually a win for everyone. The one enjoying it gets a gift with boundaries, and the caretaker has a role that's both work and authority. Good trusts use clear, straightforward language. Great ones are elegant and precise. The strongest part of a trust isn't the money it provides, but the rule that stops forced sales during tough times, when panic drives prices down. History teaches this lesson over and over. Take the South Sea bubble in the early 1700s, when fortune soared on hype and vanished overnight. Families tied to land weathered it better than those with paper wealth. Or the banking crisis in the late 1800s, where one bank's mistake nearly collapsed established families. Yet those with trusts stayed composed with cash reserves ready like emergency buckets, and trustees who ignored the fear. In 1907, during a bank run where people lined up to pull out money they claimed to trust, families with this system kept going even when others couldn't. Then came the Great Depression in 1929, when markets crashed and names that once shone faded fast. But families with rules against selling land or key holdings held firm. They might sell a yacht or racehorses, but kept the shoreline or leases. They leased out properties long-term instead of selling, eating into profits slowly while others chased quick gains. This patience, which impatient people call arrogance, let them endure. Across the Atlantic, in places like London, estates mastered this by never selling, repairing facades over decades. Death taxes hit hard, forcing sales of art and valuables, but smart legal setups helped families survive. Rearranging assets, negotiating with tax authorities, and keeping core land like a vital organ. In America, this evolved into something more businesslike. Think of a 19th century oil tycoon who set up a family office as a tireless administrative hub. He knew wealth brought duties, not just freedom, so he hired experts to handle taxes, monitor markets, and guide the family. This office acted like a control center and confessional, turning temptations into minor errors. Other families, learning from panics, built teams to manage risks as routine challenges. They avoided overconcentration or risky borrowing, which can lead to disasters. The family constitution is the machine's guiding force. Rules with real consequences. It emphasizes duty over show, care over novelty, and family unity. It includes committees for polite oversight, education rules to prevent foolish mistakes, and marriage guidelines to set boundaries. There are backups for when someone falters, and protocols for giving back to society that boost reputation strategically. Trustees are chosen for endurance. They're not impressed by glamour. They say no firmly but kindly, deliver funds at the right time, and stay dull in public while working hard privately. They fear forced sales like sailors fear fire, keeping cash ready for emergencies without touching irreplaceable assets. They maintain low-key credit lines and follow the rule: sell what you can repurchase easily, never what took generations to build. When a charming relative pitches a risky idea, a good trustee checks the rules and responds calmly, like reading a forecast. Some families use foundations that last forever, blending family, experts, and scholars to fund causes while retaining control. This isn't just kindness. It's a way to protect assets from heirs' whims or sales during tough times. The mantra "never sell the land" mixes tradition with smart accounting. Land is stable and slow-moving, calming nerves when cash is scarce and values plummet. Families prioritize it in their plans, committing to survival that's too boring for headlines but too effective for auctions. Think of leased parcels, income-generating avenues, or rights negotiated over centuries. These are the steady engines that keep things running. Fear of forced sales lurks everywhere. Margin calls from lenders, unexpected taxes, or lawsuits. The inheritance machine prepares by funding bills from cash or clever planning, not core identity assets. It buys insurance for liquidity at death, negotiates credit in advance, and plans exits for investments that might turn sour. Heirs aren't movie-style peacocks, they're apprentice managers. Good ones savor gradual privilege, not instant fame. They learn duty as a way of life, seeing family art as moral collateral, proof of patient choices. They serve on quiet boards, write thank yous privately, and distinguish true taste from fleeting wants. They speak cautiously and invest in private markets, where gains build slowly and losses are hidden. Families that study history share stories, buying discounted debt in the 1930s, like stockpiling fuel, saving homes post-war through treasury deals, or flipping leases into income during crises. They recall 19th century banks treating reputation as a long-term bond, or Northern foundations redesigning control to stay powerful despite scandals. The lesson repeats: control key assets, share what you must, and never sell the land. A strong family office maintains a liquidity rulebook. Months of expenses in easily accessible funds, plus a balanced portfolio. Family businesses they know well, income properties, tradable stocks for quick adjustments, and a safe space for young members to learn without big risks. It labels assets as sacred or experimental, and everyone agrees. All this works because of silence. Old families speak softly, believing noise scares away fortune. They teach discretion and routine, handling scandals with paperwork. A cousin's exit as a fair payout, a painting stored until the fuss dies down, or changing advisors smoothly. The inheritance machine isn't a guarantee, it's a bet on human nature. It expects temptations, bad luck, brilliance that backfires, changing laws, volatile markets, and even wars. It counters with simple rules: prioritize duty, keep reserves, choose reliable trustees, and never sell the land. On a rainy evening, you might walk through a neighborhood shaped by one family for a century without realizing it. The buildings stand quietly, leases renew like ticking clocks, facades tied to unseen documents. Somewhere, a committee meets, an heir hears a polite no. A trustee rejects a popular pitch. This invisible wealth shapes the visible world. Patient, like the tides, mocking short-term storms. The fear of forced sales lingers in habits, counting receipts after events, avoiding loans on prized items, remembering that shame often comes invited. Lasting families make success deliberately dull. Buy wisely, hold longer than rivals can, adjust portfolios methodically, and ensure funds cover bills without calling in sellers. If asked for an explanation, smile and mention charity. For the secret, we don't sell what defines us. Old homes whisper lessons of weakness and wisdom. Listen, and you'll see old money isn't a display. It's a discipline. Trusts set a tone, offices build habits, constitutions define manners. And always, the land waits. Unfazed by trends, absorbing ups and downs quietly. When your turn comes to decide, you'll recall the phrase that sustained your family. Repeat it gladly, like a costly prayer that saved more than it cost. Never sell the land. If you enjoyed this deep dive into lasting wealth, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications for more finance insights.